Hello everyone, you're on an all-new indie spotlight, and I had the honor of seeing the film Liquor Bank, written and directed by Marcellus Cox. Liquor Bank is one of those short films that gets straight to the point. It's realistic, it's gritty, and it packs a lot of emotion into its 15-minute running time. It's based on a true story, and it involves a former Marine who relapses on his 1-year anniversary of sobriety, so he misses his AA meeting and his sponsor checks up on him. It's a very simple film, but is an emotional one, whether you've dealt with like addiction, depression, or have dealt with loved ones who are dealing with that. Antwone Barnes plays Eddie, who of course is a former Marine who has relapsed, and there's so much emotion he brings to this role. You get to feel his inner turmoil, not only with the addiction to alcohol, but the kind of mental state he is in, the reasoning for the alcohol, and the consequences of being an alcoholic, really. You also get another wonderful performance by Sean Alexander James, who plays Baker, Eddie's sponsor. And I love this, not only with the dynamic between them, but somebody who's been on the other side of what Eddie is going through. I love the use of high and low angles to show not only the power dynamic, but the state the characters are in. Every time we get to see Eddie in his apartment, we get to see liquor. You know, you can kind of connect the dots of what's going on with this man. But also you get to see the certain guilt, the draw to the alcohol, this vicious cycle he is stuck in. The way close-ups are used shows Eddie's state when it comes to having the alcohol and having it taken away. And it's this kind of demon where sometimes we just get in our own way. Maybe not as severe as others, but you can definitely identify with Eddie if you're somebody that overthinks things or just kind of, you kind of have flaws and you just kind of get in your own way. You can kind of see that with Eddie's character here. He knows he has to give up alcohol. He doesn't feel worthy. He doesn't know how to deal with people and being acclimated back, the job he's in. So all these voices in his head and experiences and what he has to go through, his struggle, so to speak, kind of go hand in hand with the alcohol. The director of photography was Fabian Tirani, and the way this is shot just looks so good. The coloring, everything. The use of sound, you don't really hear any like air-conditioned noises. The sound is clean, crisp. You really get into the mental state and atmosphere of Eddie and his living situation. Liquor Bank is written and directed by Marcellus Cox. Previously did Mickey Hardaway and Rolling in the Deep. He's working on his next feature film, and what I love about this short film is that he brings a sense of truth, sincerity to the story. They don't try to sugarcoat anything with alcoholism. They bring not only a very real, gritty viewpoint on this, but also they bring humanity. I like it because like usually when you see other films, you see like alcoholics, and I mean people do go through addictions and stuff, but they kind of put them into a box or kind of fit them into a certain stereotype. And here you just get to see the humanity between the characters. You get to be put into his perspective and his struggle. And there's moments, real tense moments between the two characters that throw a curve, and I wasn't sure what was going to happen in some moments, and other moments get very emotional very fast. And anybody who's ever dealt with like depression or just kind of overcoming adversity, overthinking things, no matter what type of addiction you may have dealt with or know someone who's dealt with a certain addiction or mental health problems, you're going to understand what these characters are going through in a way. I really love the message, and it's a simple film that went by so fast. 15 minutes felt like 5 minutes with these two characters inside this one space. It was short, simple, straight to the point, and it had a great message. And the fact that it's based on a true story is just not only crazy, but doesn't surprise me in many ways. We're all humans, and in the human condition, we all struggle with different things. And especially like former veterans, it's not really talked about very much, but they do go through issues, whether it's PTSD, whether it's succumbing to alcoholism, whether it's trying to find a job or ended up homeless. Like, this stuff happens, and it's important to like see these stories brought to light. And I love the work that Marcellus Cox and the actors have done. There's an easy way where they could have made it kind of over the top, cheesy, kind of like, okay, let's do like a PSA type of thing. It's like, no, they don't do that. Luke Richards also did the music, and the music adds to the actors' performances with the emotion of what Eddie and Baker are dealing with. And they both kind of hit a dead end with each other and almost are at a breaking point of just giving up, but then wanting to push forward. They both want to do better. They both owe it to themselves and each other to do better. I thank Marcellus Cox for showing me this film early. It was a joy to watch, and it's just the pure definition of what independent film is. I didn't know what to expect going into Liquor Bank, but it was a pleasant surprise and just represents the best of what indie film has to offer, and we need more stories told. And like I said in the previous videos of Indie Spotlight, if you have an idea or want to make a film, don't worry about it so much, just do it.